Alright, everybody. Good evening. We are now live. We're covering this severe weather event across portions of North Dakota and Montana. Currently, this event is in Montana. Now, one big thing that's going to kind of suck with this event is that our radar coverage of this event is rather poor, but we will be streaming it anyway, so sorry I had kind of the thing kind of play back on me as I am copying it right now so that I can paste this on Twitter. But I'll give you my live analysis on the severe weather event today. Give you my radar analysis. Now note that I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just a high school kid, but I know a good amount about meteorology. I still have more to learn, but I definitely think I'm pretty knowledgeable with it. There is a lot of severe weather ongoing right now. That you're looking at the Great Falls radar right now. There's a intense mesoscale convective system currently, or kind of line of supercells right now, currently ongoing across north-central Montana. This is expected to move northeastward across throughout the next few hours and bring a threat of damaging wind gusts across North Dakota, southern Canada, and into portions of North Dakota as well. Probably will get some viewers to come in here pretty soon, as I just started the live. But currently, the environment overall would favor a pretty significant severe weather event for really wind and hail as our main threats here. A brief tornado or two cannot be ruled out, though the chance of that is rather unlikely. Just something to watch and kind of see what happens. As people start to filter in here. If you have any questions or anything, please put them in the chat, and I will try my best to answer them. We will go into forecasting tomorrow as well, as there could be some severe weather tomorrow across portions of Minnesota, southeast North Dakota, eastern South Dakota, western Wisconsin, and northern Iowa. Okay, I feel like right now is going to be a perfect time where we can go into the Storm Prediction Center's website and kind of look at what they have over the next few days. Here we go. So we have, right now we have an enhanced risk out for portions of Montana and North Dakota. This is, there is a small chance of a brief tornado or two, but the main threat is going to be significant wind gusts. There's a 30% significant chance of damaging wind gusts. Also have a slight chance of severe weather across Mississippi and Alabama. 15 significant potential for very large hail to large hail. Tomorrow across portions of North Dakota, Minnesota, western Wisconsin, northern South Dakota, into eastern South Dakota, northeastern Wyoming, and southeast Montana, there is a risk for severe weather. Includes the potential for a couple to potentially a few tornadoes across western Wisconsin and into portions of Minnesota, scattered damaging wind gusts, and scattered large hail. Currently, the Storm Prediction Center has a couple severe thunderstorm watches out. Here's the one for Alabama and Arkansas, highlighting here, scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms are developing ahead of a cold front across southern Arkansas, eastward into northern Mississippi into Alabama. These could form into clusters or loosely organized lines with the potential to produce occasional damaging wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. Here's the watch that we currently have out for western Montana. Scattered damaging winds with isolated significant wind gusts up to 75 miles per hour possible. Scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events up to 2 inches in diameter possible. Scattered thunderstorms are forming over the high terrain near Idaho and Montana. and storms will subsequently spread east and northeastward across Montana throughout the late evening. The initial supercells will be capable of hail upwards of 2 inches in diameter, while in upscale clusters expected, some of the damaging wind gusts could be above 75 miles per hour. Then we have a pretty high-end severe thunderstorm watch. Probabilities are 25 for tornado, 80-70 for wind, and 60-60 for hail. Widespread damaging winds and isolated significant damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles per hour likely. Scattered large hail and isolated very large hail events up to 2.5 inches in diameter likely. A tornado or two possible. A line of intense thunderstorms over central Montana will track eastward into much of the watch area throughout this evening and tonight. Much like last night, a swath of damaging wind gusts and large hail is expected. So that's kind of the overview basis of what's happening. Here's a look at the HRRR. This is going to show us the potential to see what the radar may look like later on tonight. We'll use the 1Z run. This is the most updated one. So here we go. So it looks like these storms kind of move out of Montana here. They quickly become stronger. A new intense line forms, and we're going to dive into a forecast sounding with it here. So, looks like this forecast sounding in front of this new intense line. It's going to favor very streamwise wind profiles, which if storms are surface-based before this big cap around 700 to the surface appears, a brief tornado cannot be ruled out. But this hodograph is also rather long and straight within the middle levels, so that's going to favor, let me get a different color here. That's going to favor large hail potential, really right here. And then given that the surface is more dry right here, that's going to favor potential for damaging wind gusts and large hail as well. Strong decape values located here within the sounding show various potential for all hazards tonight. And then strong instability between the red and the white lines noted with ML cape values of 2,000 joules per kilogram are also possible tonight, along with steep lapse rates upwards of 7 to 8 kilometers, or Celsius per kilometer. So that will help the hail and wind threat overall. Now, as we move forward here, this line is expected to kind of keep going into portions of North Dakota, and 10Z, it'll still probably be pretty intense. And now here's the 0Z's HRRR's take on it. We get a couple storms to form out ahead of the line here. And I will get a radar up to see if there are any storms ahead of the line there in North Dakota. So, give me a second here. But a few storms try to form ahead of the line. They kind of get eaten off rather quickly. We see that main line kind of move through and gets pretty strong still around 12Z, which is 7 a.m. or so. And these storms will likely continue to be strong in Minnesota throughout the day tomorrow as they weaken around lunchtime. A new round of thunderstorms starts to develop midday across Minnesota. These will be favorable for tornadoes and large hail. If we take a forecast sounding in front of it, we can see that the storm is tracking into rather strong values of instability, but there's not really much wind shear noted with the lacking lower level shear in the hodograph. Looking a little bit further southeastward, we can see the storm is tracking into stronger wind shear, but there is an inversion around 500 to 850 millibars or stable layer, which will keep the storms from producing tornadoes and make them mainly wind and hail producers. If they go a little bit further south than what the HRRR suggests in this environment, some tornado potential would be possible, but that surface inversion would limit it. So expecting severe storms there. Some isolated severe storms across the Montana area as well. Now looking the next day into Illinois, we have a marginal risk for this day as well. If we go onto the Storm Prediction Center's page, we can see we have a marginal for this day. Isolated hail and severe gusts are going to be the main threats with that. As we move over to the HRRR, we can kind of see there's some morning showers and storms that are going to be possible before some storms try to pop up across portions of Wisconsin and Illinois in the evening hours. These storms in Wisconsin could be producing damaging winds and hail, while these storms that try to pop up in Illinois would have generally the same threats, except that sounding is absolutely terrible because there's no instability in the hodograph. The hodograph's fine, but there's no instability, which is going to really cause the threat to be insignificant. Now, if you guys did not understand really any of that, make sure to kind of comment it out there. And kind of tell me what you need to know. And there are no supercells right now in North Dakota, so that is a good thing for North Dakota people. Now, the bad thing about this is that the Glasgow, Montana radar went out last night from a lightning strike, so we will not be getting any radar data from that area. which is very unfortunate because that area would have had amazing radar data, except no. Currently, though, we are still tracking that severe weather potential. Let me change screens here and get to the Billings, Montana radar. That's probably our closest view of this cluster right now. So here's the view out of Billings, Montana. We have a pretty intense supercell along the southern edge of it. Radar is indicating large hail to be 1 to 2 inches in diameter. We have severe thunderstorm warnings out that have hail up to ping pong ball size observed. Here we have a warning for golf ball sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and a possible tornado. And as we can see here, we have a tornadic circulation near Winnett, Montana, and it's been getting a little bit stronger over the past few scans. This warning here, heading for Glasgow, 60 wind gusts, 1 inch hail. This warning further north here, 1 inch hail, 60 wind gusts. Now we can look at the satellite loop here, which will kind of help us with some stuff here because there is a lot that we really can't see across Montana right now because of the radar being out, which is a really big pain. Now, at least I can still show you guys satellite loop and kind of how strong this thing looks on infrared satellite, which is a way that meteorologists or weather enthusiasts like to see the cloud tops of the storms. Now, let's switch it over to my Google Chrome screen again. It'll be black for a second. So there we go. So we see infrared satellite right now is... Here's a loop of it. Yep. So we can see these storms kind of start to blow up here across Montana. We have a really good one, really good supercell located kind of right in here. You can see that really good supercell really start to blow up over the past few scans, and you can kind of see these little convective thunderstorm bursts there. Here's the Mosaic radar. We'll let that load for a second there. Now, the Mosaic radar view, well, this area is rather unclear because we don't really have a good radar site, so it's going to be kind of weak reflectivity values until we get a better one. Let's see, we have a pretty intense supercell down there by Billings, Montana. We would normally have a radar near Glasgow, but we don't have one right now. We have some other supercells out here in western Montana starting to pop up. So I feel like long-wave IR is going to be our main kind of source of seeing how strong these storms are actually right now. Now let's take you out to the Missoula radar in Montana. That's Billings. Missoula? We don't have that radar up here yet. God. Oh, there it is. It's Lincoln radar. Okay. So here's the Missoula, Montana radar. As you can see here, we really don't have that much going on. We have a pretty nice supercell up here in the high elevations of Montana right here. We did have a severe warned storm right here, but it got unsevere warned as its rotation has, or severe thunderstorm characteristics have kind of weakened over the past few scans. We can see this intense linear segment kind of still roaming around here. Currently this is a little bit of a quiet stream, as we really don't have that much to talk about. We're kind of in a bit of a radar hole with the severe weather system, so I thought I would come on here for a little bit and give my analysis of this event, and if y'all have any questions, I would give analysis on other events and stuff. And I think Billings, Montana is going to be our main source here of really good radar data, as really our other radars are not that great. We can see this is a supercell trying to rotate north of Melstone, Montana here. We still have that severe warning out for ping pong ball-sized hail. We have another area of thunderstorms rapidly developing behind it as well. Thunderstorm tops upwards of 50,000 feet, 60,000 feet. These are rapidly rising over here. These are upwards of 50,000 feet now, 40 to 50,000. We're going to take a look at and kind of load the radar real quick here, and we'll give you a radar loop of it. I see a well-defined outflow boundary north of Billings there. Boo, look at this dude, sad, no viewers here to watch, at least learn from John, shut up. Like, bro, all you talk about is me being a severe weather weenie, bro. Like, dude, just shut up and go get a life, man. That's all I gotta say to that one. Okay, but as we can see here, this line of, like, I think the supercell pushed out an outflow boundary earlier. We can kind of still see lots of areas of convection developing here in Montana. We can see they have this supercell developing here, one developing back here, 1.75-inch shell report here. These storms will probably quickly become severe warrant over the next few scans here. We can still see that strong rotation west of Cat Creek there in Montana, or north or east of Winnett. Kind of watch that radar loop there. Over the past few days, since I've uploaded, really not much has happened. Last night there was a solid mesoscale convective system across Montana. That's about it there. John, if you actually have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I will gladly try my best to answer them for you. Might not be the best, but I will try my best to answer them for you, man. If you want to learn more about severe weather. Well, I'm not that good with severe weather. Well, I'm just asking if you have a question, like, I will answer it. So, I mean, if you can think of a question, then I will gladly try and answer it for you. But to comment on this, we still have an intense supercell on the southern flank of this line in north-central Montana, just north of Melstone or southeast of Winnett. Large hail upwards of 1 to 2 inches is possible with this, as we have almost 60 DBZ returns all the way up to 33,000 feet. And we have a pretty good CC drop as well, indicating a large hail. So I guess you don't have a question, John. Nice. Ooh, that thing is really starting to get some rotation. I could take a 3D slice of the storm and show you guys maybe in a little bit here. Okay. So, John, MCSs can form various ways. An MCS like this has formed on the leading edge of a shortwave trough, and it'd probably be more better if I shared my screen, and I will do that in a second. But I will show you in a second. Right now, I am going to get something out here. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen and show you, John, because that is a good question, and I kind of want to tell you, man. Okay. So, in this instance, John, if we go over to the SVC, they have a handy tool called mesoscale analysis. Within mesoscale analysis, there is a lot of parameters. Some of the parameters that really help with MCS development are theta E advection, or actually no, wait a second. Theta E right here. Theta E. Theta E is basically a measure of the moisture in kelvins here, and we can see there is an axis with these red and orange lines. These red and orange lines, this is where the MCS is forming right now in Montana, and it will ride this axis into portions of North Dakota. And once it hits North Dakota, it'll probably intensify quite rapidly, given the fact that there is a lot of mixed layer Cape pooled, 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram. And there's also, this thing is also riding the axis of a 500 millibar shortwave, if my 500 millibar will load. You can see here, there's a shortwave right here. It's kind of riding the axis of it, so that's going to kind of power into North Dakota there as well. Now, there is a severe weather sheet. I got to find it here. This is from National Weather Service of Louisville. So here we go. Here is how bow echoes and derechos form. And also MCSs. And we can also predict the movement of them too. But for MCS maintenance, you need 0 to 10 kilometer shear vector magnitude over 40 knots, 3 to 8 kilometer lap speeds of 6.5 or over, which we have, MU Cape in the lowest 300 millibars of over 1,700 joules per kilogram, which we have, 3 to 12 kilometer mean wind of over 35 knots, which we have, significant trailing rain behind the leading line within the squall line / QLCS, which we have, which we can clearly see on satellite here. We have a lot of trailing rain. Yeah, and you also dissipation. It's usually from the MCS moving away from the 850 millibar theta E source. So theta E is a very big thing when it comes to mesoscale forecasting, because once it outruns the better axis of theta E, you're not going to have that thing intensifying as much anymore, unless there's some sort of other internal kind of thing messing with it, unless it's wrong up front. Bow echoes and derechos, you need a quasi-stationary lower-level thermodynamic boundary, nearly parallel to the mean tropospheric flow, I think is how you pronounce that. Which that can be a theta E boundary, could be an outflow boundary, could be something else. Middle to upper-level flow is usually out of the west or northwest at a significant angle to low-level flow. Mid-level wind speeds are usually no greater than 40 knots. 0.2 to, or wait, that's 0 to 2.5 kilometer bulk shear, in between 35 and 50 knots, 700 to 500 millibar mean RH between 50 and 80%. Cape very high, averaging around 4,500 joules per kilogram, sometimes a little bit lower for an MCS / or for a derecho or significant Boeing segment. Also along a moisture boundary, which I've already talked about. Strong migrating shortwave trough and a surface low pressure system. Low level jet is more parallel to the middle level / upper level jet. And with this event, we can see the middle level / upper level jet, and then we can look at the lower level jet. And oh wait, that's not the lower level jet. Look at the lower level jet. You can see the lower level jet is pretty parallel. Now it is a little bit. It's a little bit more out of the southeast here, which is gonna create more supercell potential along the southern part of the line. But as you get a little bit further north, it gets a lot more parallel with the upper level flow there. You also need, for derechos, you need a prolonged bow echo / damaging Wingus with favored in high to extreme instability, fast, low to mid up level unidirectional flow, and 0 to 3 kilometer bulk shear 30 knots, 0 to 6 kilometer bulk shear 40 knots. Hello, TDG and Emily Weather. How are you guys doing? Well, yeah, basically that's it, John. There's also other stuff in the sheet here. I could send this to you on Discord, and you can read through it. Probably be a great thing for you if you want to learn more about this stuff. And then it would always be there as kind of a learning tool for you in case you need it in the future. So I just sent it to your DMs on Discord. But yeah. Okay, got it. Sent in DM. Okay, great. Yeah, I did pull up day 3 TDG. I had it pulled up on my browser here. Yeah, John, with this setup, we do have moderate instability, not extreme, so you wouldn't get a derecho out of this. You would get a nice intense MCS, though, given the fact that you have it riding into stronger instability, and it's along the leading edge of a shortwave trough. If we go to the full CONUS sector here, and if we look at the surface winds, there is a rather strong low-level pressure that's developing in Utah. There's also a strong low-level pressure in, I believe that is Manitoba. And then we also have one, I think this is Alberta over here. So there's a couple of low-pressure systems that are kind of guiding this over. And there's also, the big one is this one in Montana and Wyoming here. That's going to be the main one that this thing just rides northeastward. Or kind of more eastward, actually, more like this. Into the night hours there. Here's a look at the satellite, though. We can see kind of how this storm is evolving here. I can see that supercell along the southern edge of the MCS is quite intense and is really starting to peak. There's also another area of storms forming behind it as well. As you can see with those infrared satellite tops into the oranges now. We can switch over to the Billings, Montana radar now. And here's a look at that supercell that is currently located southeast of Winnett there. This is starting to get some decent low-level rotation, and definitely the large hail is starting to get a bit better. These storms are also starting to get nearly severe status now, so we might start to see severe warnings come out for these in a little bit here. If we look a little bit further up into the tilt, yeah, these are probably producing large hail. I mean, they're producing 57 DBZs around 28,000 feet or so. Let's see with this supercell, it's probably checking out some big hail now. Bigger CC area there. Higher echo tops than before. Let's see what this warning has now. Ping pong ball sized hail. I would warn for a little bit higher, but that's just me personally. Oh, that's some strong DBZ with that new scan. With this new scan here, I think the 73 DBZ, that's pretty high. So we have the new wrap that loaded in for tomorrow as well. The onesie wrap. MU Cape within like the lowest 300 millibars is pretty strong tonight as well. 2,000 to like 4,000 joules per kilogram across the board. Deep layer shear values are pretty high, 40 to 60 knots. 3 kilometer shear values are 20 to 35 knots as well, which is going to enhance the potential for a strong MCS cluster to form. Or MCS line, sorry, not cluster. And, ooh, that is a pretty strong couplet with that new skin. If we take a measure of the velocity regional. I don't remember how it is, but VROT here. It's 44 knots, which is pretty strong, which is suggesting the potential for a tornado to be maybe in the process of touching down here in portions of Montana here. Let's get the county here. This would be in portions of Rosebud County in Montana, where the rotation is. Northwest Rosebud County. Now, if you guys did just hear that, there are people sending off fireworks in the background right now, so, yeah. I don't know why you're sending them off when it's a little bit late. Also, if you guys are wondering about the video that I am right now I'm making a video for my Storm Chase on the 4th, and yeah, I probably could have worked on it today, but I was a bit busy playing with family and stuff. But, I will try to get that video out next week at some point. If you guys want to, I have a video out on my YouTube channel already, from this event. I can, put it in the chat if you want to check it out after the stream here. This is kind of a preview of that chase. I ended up seeing a wall cloud in LaSalle County, Illinois, southern LaSalle County, Illinois there. Hello, SBWX. Thanks, man. But, if you want to check this out, here, not a poll. How are you doing, SPWX? Just call you SP? Okay. Surface to 3 kilometer SRH, roughly 200, so wouldn't doubt an isolated tornado threat in any storm that stays particularly discreet. I would more use the hodograph shape or 0 to 1 kilometer SRH to kind of get tornado potential, because I feel like 0 to 3 kilometer is more for supercell potential. Yeah, GR2. Yeah, I have GR2. But I feel like the 0 to 1 kilometer SRH value is a little bit better for that. If we're looking at 0 to 1, I can pull it up on missile scale analysis right now. We're looking at 50 to isolated pockets of 100, and that supercell in Montana that we're currently looking at is in a pocket of, I think that's, it's in a pocket of 100. Now, I have a tool where it kind of tells me on the storm. Current environment it's working in, it has 2,000 Mixler Cape, 84 joules per kilogram, or not joules per kilogram, sorry, 0 to 1 kilometer SRH, meters per second there, and 66.2 knots of effective bulk shear. So it's in a pretty good environment to produce a tornado. We just gotta, let me just get a wrap setting up real quickly for, like, right now, which is 2Z, technically still, in, like, that area. It's right on that 2,000 Cape area, Cape area, so looking into forecast soundings, I am seeing that there is a surface inversion which would greatly reduce the tornado potential, along with a temperature dew point spread of 27 degrees, and there really isn't that much 3 Cape, and if we look at the nearest station, which is, like, in Billings, it's 91 on 61, so it's not that great. 84 on 64 in Jordan, that is more supportive, so it might be in a little bit of a better environment. We'll have to see. It's moving out of the higher area of surface fort. It was in a nice surface fort / conversion area. Let's see. Oh yeah, it is kind of moving out of it, but that axis might actually move along with it, SP. Yeah, it looks like that X-axis kind of moves along with it. I'm looking at the HRRR/RAP 2 hours in advance. I feel like that axis kind of moves along with it. It is getting close to the top of the hour, so I think it's also because mesoscale analysis hasn't quite updated yet. Oh, look at that scan. That's a pretty strong mesocyclone there. Now, that's a little bit displaced for where I would think it would be, but we got a 40-knot veer out there. But yeah, going back to that point that I was just talking about, I think it's because mesoscale analysis hasn't really updated yet. I feel like it's probably still within it. I mean, it still looks pretty good. It's a little bit far up, though, 6,000 feet, but yeah. Okay, so they did severe warn this convection back here in Golden Valley and Muscle Shell County there, north of Roundup. This is going to be a severe warning for 60 mile per hour wind gusts and 1-inch hail, northwest Muscle Shell County in central Montana, northeast Golden Valley County in central Montana. This is going to be going until 9:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time or 10:30 Central. Yeah, looking like that storm is in a decent environment to produce stuff right now. Yo, it's SP. You're everywhere. Who is SP? I mean, we have SPWX in here, but to be honest, not horrible. I don't know who that is. Oh, wait, are you the kid on Twitter from, like, DC or whatever? I think I know who that is. It looks a little similar. Oh, yeah, you are. Yeah, you've liked some of my tweets before, man. So I've seen you in my feed before. Yeah, I know SPWX is an analyst for Ryan Hall. Emily. I think I'm gonna close the Mashul radar in Montana that I have open because there really isn't that much over that area. I'll probably keep the radar open itself, and I'm not really sure where to move it. You can still see the Super Soul still chugging along with a nice signature here. See what the V-Rod is now. Probably still pretty good. 46 knots, that's a suspicious pixel, so we'll just pick that. That's 46, which is pretty strong. It's getting a little further from the radar, though, which is understandable. No tornado possible tag on the storm yet, which is a little interesting. Hail around 1.5 inches, I can definitely see. Bro, I kind of wish you were still an analyst, Andrew. Yeah. That whole situation was... I don't even know. I'm not going to discuss it on here. I mean, I loved, like, giving analysis to people in the server. It was kind of fun, but... yeah. Yeah, we're looking. Let's look at a cross section of the storm. I'm not sure if it's gonna show up on my device I'm streaming on right now with. It might. It may not. It takes a little bit to update some stuff sometimes. Why is it not capturing the specific window? Come on, man. I have the cross-section window selected. Okay, whatever. There we go. So here's the cross-section of the supercell right now that we have ongoing in Montana. It will load here in a second. So here we go. So this storm has tops upwards of 50,000 feet, which is rather high. Kind of swing a position with it. We can see it's a pretty intense looking supercell with its hail core going up to around 30k feet, which means it's probably producing some big hail. And yeah, we can see it's got at least the CC drop with the hail wise is upwards of 20,000 feet, which is pretty strong. Taking a cross section of the velocity, we can go with a couple here. It looks like it has a meso upwards of 25,000 feet aloft, which is pretty high. Pretty cool looking. Can we do NROT on here anymore? No, I guess I removed you from doing NROT with this, which was kind of annoying because I love doing NROT with cross sections, but I guess you can't do that anymore. Nice boundary to the west though with good surface frontal genesis section. Decape is also hot and likely potentially causing the velocity of the hail to be faster, allowing for a slower time to melt the hail when it goes down. Yeah, Decape is very high. You probably meant high. Yeah, decape is on the order of 1,000 to 1,700 joules per kilogram. And what SP just mentioned, decape. Decape is a measure of downdraft cape within the lowest levels of the atmosphere usually, and it is a very big factor when it comes to damaging wind gusts, as you usually want 800 to 1,000 or more, and today we have very high values, which is going to be indicative of a significant damaging wind threat that we have, which is why the SPC went 30% significant damaging wind gusts with today. And again, the supercell from a 3D point of view looks very cool on the radar here. Looking at spectrum width, looks like there's a nice meso aloft there. But yeah, that's a nice supercell. I did just close out of the windows. We got to go onto the Billings radar again. There we go. So, here is the Billings radar again. Okay, that is a very weird supercell structure that we have. Is this like an LP supercell? Oh, I think I know what happened. Okay, so right near Muscle Shell, we have a intensifying supercell rapidly along a boundary. This may end up producing a tornado. I would not be surprised if it does so. Riding right along a boundary. You have Forecast Lab, Agent? Yeah, I do have Forecast Lab, SP. If it ends up becoming more of a boring event where it goes into the radar, like range folding area where you can't really see as much, I could probably play. I could probably run up some Forecast Lab later and see how good I do. But yeah, going into the analysis again, we have this supercell here that is riding a boundary. This boundary is located from right about here, if you can see my mouse, all the way through here. And yeah, you can see my mouse, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you can see the mouse. But that boundary is going to enhance the potential for maybe a brief tornado with that storm. I would not be surprised if it ends up spitting a brief tornado out. See how much vorticity there is in this area, because that is going to be that's going to be a big factor in indicating this, along with 3 Cape. So there is a lot of vorticity on the order of, what is that, like 10? Is that like 8? That's like 8, which is very high surface vorticity. Yeah, I've never realized that either, Veer. Never knew that was a thing. Maybe I will look into that after I'm done with this. But yeah, it's pretty cool that it actually coordinates with it pretty well. And yeah, very good point. Okay, yeah, that induced scan is quite interesting with the supercell near Muscle Shell. I can go into double tilt now. We have the supercell up here still rotating broadly in the low levels. This thing is not rotating great in the low levels, but as you get into the upper levels, it's really starting to converge, and converging is when the velocities are kind of right on top of each other, but not quite rotating yet. It's starting to get that shape there. We might have a little bit of rotation within the lowest levels. It's trying to get down to the ground. We'll see if this happens. The one behind it, northwest of Roundup, is also a severe one. The understanding of physics and how it coordinates with each other is quite fantastic. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I did talk about that, Emily, just a little bit ago, that we have a severe warning northwester roundup for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, I believe. Kind of surprised this storm isn't quite severe warned yet. It's got some huge hail aloft, but I guess it hasn't really gotten to the surface yet, so they're not going to warn it quite yet. Where did you get this knowledge from, Wool? I don't know, man. SP is just like that, I guess. I would say I'm pretty knowledgeable in tornado genesis right now. I'm starting to get better with wind and hail as well. Also a note, we just had a severe report of 78-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I don't know where it is, but it'll come in soon, maybe. Yep, there we go. Mashula. We have a 78-mile-per-hour wind report in Malta. Observed via the Malta ASOS site. That was a mouthful for me, and I don't know why. Okay, it looks like that rotation is now, or not rotation, that hail is now starting to go to the lower levels. YouTube videos and hours of reading AMS journals. Yeah, I have a Discord server that puts out a bunch of AMS journals. I haven't really looked at many of them. Probably should look at more of them. Because that would help me. I looked at the Louisville one from the National Weather Service, and that's kind of helped me with some of my forecasting before. I will say, they were in a modest pressure falls in the area. That was a little bit of a really weird sentence, but I do that stuff all the time. And I could see what you meant there, SP. Kind of sucks that the Glasgow radar got struck by lightning last night, because if it didn't, we would have amazing data with this kind of cluster of supercells that's transitioning into an MCS mode right now. Also, it's also kind of funny how this thing was also doing like Gazillion general analysis and vocal briefings in the server as well. Yeah, when I was there back in early 2022, they weren't really doing that many vocal briefings. Oh, okay. Let's look at this new satellite scan that just came out. Look at that. That is an intense updraft there in central Montana. That fired off with that supercell there. There's also that intense updraft kind of behind it too. That's gonna help with that. Pretty intense updraft there in that red area there is that you can see that updraft goes up. What is that radar software called? That radar software is called GR2 Analyst. I can send you the link in here. There is a free trial for, I believe, around a month or so, and then you have to buy it for $250. There's also GR3, which is less expensive. But here, I can send the link in here. It's gonna take me a second to send it, though. There you go. Here's GR3 analyst, and then I can show you GR2 as well. Here is GR2. So there they are. You are welcome. Now let's go back over to the Montana radar right now. Billings, Montana radar. But currently it's a little bit quiet as we're kind of just watching these supercells here in Montana. This is the most interesting supercell to me south of Millstone as it kind of took off along an outflow boundary here, but it's mainly just a supercell fest right now with these supercells producing pretty big hail probably. Verifying a 15 to maybe 30 sig hail risk. See this if this let's see here. This warning was not updated quite yet. Let's see if this warning was updated yet. 2-inch size tail now with a considerable tag and a tornado possible, and 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts now for Rosebud County. Again, if you guys have any questions who are watching, any comments, just put them in the chat. I will respond to them, give you my opinion, or teach you. I've already taught some people in here and had some nice conversations with people. So let's keep it going. But again, here we are watching pretty significant hail here. This should be severe warned. That's all I'm going to say. I would severe warn it myself personally, but I'm not the National Weather Service, and I'm not a meteorologist, but maybe they are a little bit overwhelmed as there is multiple severe thunderstorms in that area right now. And we just got a new severe thunderstorm warning north of Glasgow, 70-mile-an-hour wind gust and quarter-sized hail. This one is for 60 and quarters. There's a big special weather statement out for a line of strong storms across Montana as well right now. '70 memento. Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. We can pause the radar now. As I have returned, looks like this supercell that formed off the outflow boundary produced a golf ball-sized tail via trained spotters. Looking up at tilts, that thing still has a decent rotating mesocyclone. This thing right here is a good rotating mesocyclone as well. Looks like wind and hail is going to probably transition into a bigger threat. We have 66 mile/hour gust here in Glasgow. Which looks rather interesting as well. Hello, Bob McDonald's. Well, yeah, I would say this has turned out pretty good so far. Like that our average duration of people here is 8 minutes. It's pretty good. Still looking at the satellite view, we still have a pretty good view of these intense supercells that are blowing up. I can put the satellite loop on and show y'all. Second here. There it is. You see a bunch of bursts within the convection, meaning that it is intensifying in the southern area. Looks like the northern area is weakening a good bit. You can see where it did produce those significant gusts in the northern area there, northern Montana, was where those gusts kind of started to peak a little bit, and then the towers have started kind of blowing off a little bit, maybe because they're outrunning the better instability. I think generally that southern cluster is going to be the main thing to watch tonight now, as looks like the northern area will continue to weaken, and the southern area will continue to strengthen as we have multiple severe thunderstorm regions going down there. Classic OFB vertical shear vorticity convergence, yeah. But looks like the SBC's mesoscale analysis page has updated, and these storms are in a lot of vorticity. Just don't have a lot of surface instability. Looking at your surface-based cape, it's not the best, 2,000 joules per kilogram right now. But a more important value is mixed layer cape, and we are around 2,000 or a bit over that. So that is quite interesting. Now we can move over back to the Billings, Montana radar and kind of take a look at our supercells that we have going on. We currently have, I believe this is 6 active severe thunderstorm warnings, or 5 active severe thunderstorm warnings, maybe 5 or 6. Not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one is golf ball size tail, tornado possible, and this is for portions of Rosebud, northern Rosebud. This one is Garfield County in northeastern Montana, 60 mile/hour wind gust and 1-inch hail. The hail was observed. This one is Petrolome County and Garfield County in northeastern Montana, 1-inch hail and 60 mile/hour wind gusts, both radar indicated. This warning is for 1-inch hail, 60 mile/hour wind gusts, radar indicated. This warning is for golf ball sized hail and 60 mile/hour wind gusts, the hail observed from a train spotter. And then this warning, golf ball sized hail and 60 mile/hour wind gusts with a tornado possible tag. So that's our current rundown of the warnings. The classic Northern Rocky / plain stuff. Yeah, SB, yeah. Yeah, I see. Pretty classic. But yeah, we are currently kind of watching the radar, seeing if anything new pops up with these storms. Thank you all for whoever is still here. I was not expecting everything to pop off this much. So thank you. A better run. Nice analysis, Andrew. Oh, thanks again, SP. Looks like the storm is in Treasure County there in Montana here, and we're starting to get a bit of some lower level tongue twister got lower level rotation. Sorry about that. With this storm north of Myers, Montana. Why was I about to say Minnesota? I am not speaking clearly right now. We can overall kind of see these storms kind of moving off to the east. A little sad that we don't have Glasgow up, but we're going to live without it. We still see we have a lot of hail reports coming in. 1 inch, 1.57 inches, 0.5 inches. So, lots of hail reports coming in. Let's go back and look at mesoscale analysis over on my Google Chrome tab here. So let's look at it. So currently right now, across Montana, let's look at some surface observations. Ahead of this line, we have dew points into the upper 60s and lower 70s measured out here. And this is the main line right now. Cluster of, it's basically 3 supercells, which is pretty dang close to what the HRRR had. These storms are going to continue moving off to the east-northeast. Looks like they're going to get into the higher area of dew points here across western North Dakota. That's where I think the severe potential might be maximized. Along with higher dew points along that area, you also have higher mixed layer cave values, upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram compared to the 1,500 to 2,000 out west. Deep layer shear is still going to be rather strong over there, as that deep layer shear axis is going to move eastward. 50 to 60 knots will be available for those storms. Looking into your hodograph, looking into the SCUT maps first before the hodographs, we can see that there's not much surface-based instability. It's mainly elevated instability noted within these SCUTs right here. Looks like downdraft Cape is going to remain extremely high, upwards of 1,000 to 1,600 joules per kilogram here, and it's expected to remain that way throughout the night, looking at future HRRR/RAP, and even get up to our 2,000. So the southern part of the line is probably going to be the most intense wind gust-wise, I would assume, throughout the night. Mateo, no. Sorry about that distraction. Bad Mateo. But looking into our wind profiles here, we can see these wind profiles are extremely straight in the middle and upper levels, which is very classic for large hail. It's a very large hail production. Along with that, the hodographs are rather streamwise within the lowest levels, which is going to create potential for good structure within any supercells, which I've seen a few pictures out of the area with good structure. Another thing to watch is the areas with the blue, outlined hodographs there. Those are more surface-based hodographs, so if we do get storms in those areas, maybe we could squeak out a brief tornado. It just depends if the storms end up being surface-based. Again, looking at the 3K vorticity axis here, lots of vorticity here, just not much 3K advecting northward, as our lower level inversion is really hurting that. I don't know why I keep going on to the sounding from tomorrow. It's kind of silly, but whatever. Kind of looking to see if there's anything new from the Storm Prediction Center right now. Looks like that severe thunderstorm watch in Alabama and Mississippi has been canceled as the storms are dying off. And that watch in central Montana, west central Montana, is going to be canceled shortly as well. Still looking at nice, intense updrafts here in Montana. We can again look at RAP analysis soundings for right now, which we are currently a little bit after 3Z right now. So let's take a little bit of a box area here in central Montana and kind of analyze this. So there is a very strong cap aloft, but we have stronger instability values indicated in this red area that I'm about to outline right here. Instability that is basically locked up in the atmosphere there. So we have around 2,000 joules per kilogram in the mixed layer with that, and 3,000 in the most unstable layer. 9 Celsius per kilometer lapse rates, very steep. Deep layer shear upwards of 50 to 60 knots, which is going to help the thread out a lot there. You also see the wind profile rather straight and very long, which is again very supportive for hail. The low levels rather in here are a little bit more supportive for tornadic activity, especially the lowest 1 to 2 kilometers, as we have a lot more streamlined vorticity available there as our wind's back. We can see we have a storm velocity of around 100 to 150, which is solid for tornadic potential, but the big problem there is we have no 3 Cape and the huge inversion right here. That is going to prevent a more significant threat from happening, tornado-wise. Again, here's the 500 millibar flow look to it, and solid amounts of flow, 40, 50 knots, which will support the continued threat throughout the night. Yeah, your lower level shear is a little bit more veered from the shear around 500. You can see your upper level wind shear doesn't really change much directional wise. It's just your lower level shear. So that's going to support supercells for a while until kind of the storms start to congeal into more of a cluster. Here is my Twitter. If you are coming from the YouTube side of things, my Twitter is @central with a capital S or C underscore and then Illinois with capital I and L underscore W X capital W. Again, here's the look at the newest HRRR run. It has now loaded in. We can see here it goes more supercellular for a while until we get a nice organized Boeing segment right around 5 a.m. or so along the leading edge of this Boeing segment. Strong amounts of decap will be present given that sounding, which will enhance the damaging wind threat. This run also shows the threat existing all the way until around lunchtime or a little bit before that, and we get supercells to form behind it. And look at the environment there, supportive for wind and hail mainly. Again, if you guys have any questions, please put them in the chat section. It's been great chatting with you guys tonight. If you guys like the analysis, like and subscribe to the channel. If you have any tips, again, just put them in the chat room here, and I will try to respond to all of your guys' questions and everything. I think I've done a pretty good job at that. We haven't really had too much action. Here is our Billings, Montana radar again. As we were kind of watching this thing glide eastward. New severe thunderstorm warning just got put up. We just hit a 66 gust here. 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, nickel-sized hail. We have another warning right here. This is going to be for 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, quarter-sized hail. We have another warning here. 1-inch hail observed, 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Kind of looking at everything here. Large hail is going to be our main concern right now, but we will see a concern for significant wind gusts in the immediate future as well. We have now been going for an hour and 30 minutes, and we've had an average view duration of 7 minutes, which I think is pretty good, and 32 views already, and we haven't even published this thing. Thank you guys. This is one of the more successful live streams, along with that Iowa one that we just had. We had back in, I had back in March, which is around 4 months ago now. That one was one of my better live streams, as I had one of my friends storm chasing, Steven. You will catch him occasionally on these, maybe giving severe weather analysis or himself just storm chasing. Steven's a very good storm chaser. Hasn't really been able to storm chase much over the past few months because of his car being broken down, but he'll be back out there over the next few weeks if there's any setups across this area, which probably not. So that's a bit unfortunate for him. Now, we do have the wrap now, the newest wrap run in range for tomorrow. Sorry if I'm sniffling, I have bad allergies right now. But let's get some analysis for tomorrow. So the same 500 millibar system that's going to be over Montana and North Dakota tonight is going to eject into the region tomorrow, bringing a severe threat in here, and then also backlit areas back in here as well. What we're kind of looking for is 850 millibar. We have a little bit of a lower level wind energy across Minnesota and Iowa. I think the main severe threat is going to be in Minnesota, though, because look at this. A lot of mixed layer SNH a little bit further south, which is going to kind of decrease the threat. Looking a bit further north, where we don't have that mixed layer SNH, we have more of a wind and hail threat. So I think wind and hail are probably going to be the main threats with this. Now, there is a There's a highly conditional but potentially significant tornado threat with this event. It's just going to really depend on kind of where your better ingredients lie. Here's one of the composite parameters. It looked a lot better earlier. Well, it looked better at the 21Z run. Maybe it's better at 21Z. Yeah, not great. The environment here is not great for tornadoes. Go back to the 0Z run, though. It is a bit better up north into northern portions of Minnesota here. If we take a forecast sounding in front of these clusters, storms up there, we can see the environment here. There is a good amount of 3 Cape. The only thing is your surface winds are not great, so wind and hail again would be the main threats there. I think it's going to be mainly a wind and hail day. We do have that 5% tornado, though. 15 wind and 15 hail, so all hazards would be possible. Here's a look at the NAM 3 kilometer for tomorrow. Continues at MCS until the late afternoon hours, and we get another area of supercells to kind of move across Minnesota there. Environmental conditions are favorable again for wind, hail, and tornadoes. Tornadoes are going to be possible if the inversion is going to be a bit lighter, which the NAM 3K suggests the inversion to be slightly lighter than some of the other models have. This is favorable except when you get that lower level inversion there. Which a lower level inversion is detrimental to tornado potential because it causes the storms to maybe not be as surface-based as they could be, or not surface-based at all. And supercells usually have to be surface-based to produce tornadoes. Now looking into Monday, it looks like some elevated storms are possible in the morning hours for Iowa and Illinois. And as we get into the evening, some showers and storms are possible to form along a cold front, but this risk is rather conditional. 18Z run showed a pretty decent area of strong storms across central Illinois moving southward. This newest run, though, is not showing that. Maybe because of more convection. I don't know. Or maybe because of the overall dynamics being placed a bit differently, but it's just going to depend. This run has a favorable environment for severe weather across Illinois. It's just nothing really substantial fires until later at night. Thank God for the storms in Cali. I don't really think there's any storms in Cali, man. Looking over the next few days here, no severe weather tomorrow or today, or no storms tomorrow, and then no storms on Monday. Y'all are not really getting much rain, which is bad because you guys need rain. Oh, my God! Storms forecasted in Cali. Oh, we can look at that here right now using the Euro here and kind of just look at that generally because we're right now the big time supercells are kind of exiting the radar region there. So it's kind of entering kind of a dead zone, so I can look at that kind of quickly. Yeah, over the next few days, it's going to be pretty dry across Cali. Looks like maybe a storm or two next week. Oh, looks like, yeah, you guys are going to have a chance for some showers and storms on Thursday. Then maybe Friday, too. Looks like there's a low pressure that kind of sits around and gives you guys chances next week. NWS San Diego forecasted slight monsoon moisture systems and thunderstorms. Yeah, that's definitely possible. I mean, you guys get that kind of stuff this time of the year. Euro, let's see here. The Euro rain amounts here over the next 240 hours. They have some isolated splotches across that area, mainly Arizona, Colorado, and New Mexico getting heavy rain, along with North Dakota, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and then Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Delaware, Maryland getting a lot of heavy rain as well. Looking at the UPS ensemble, which is basically a mean of a bunch of models here. Yeah, there's definitely possibilities for maybe up to 0.5 inches of rain next week there. Looking toward the end of the run, this is the complete end of the run there. It looks like y'all do have an isolated splotch of around a quarter inch or a little higher, and then splotches of 0.5 to 0.10 inches of rain. Main areas getting slammed though: Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas. Looks like there's a ridge that kind of sets up in Texas, and then there might be another one that kind of sets up here. Monsoon and kind of other storm patterns here. Stuff riding the ridge here, going down here. Kind of classic summertime pattern. One of the classics, at least. Vegas, a monsoon system I've experienced in a year or two. Yeah, good, because the drought is really bad. And we could check in on the drought monitor as well, as it is kind of bad. And across these areas here, the drought monitor is quite bad. We take a look at the drought monitor here. So here's the current drought right here, and we can see California has some really bad drought. Exceptional drought, extreme drought, and severe drought. Arizona looks like it's getting better. Colorado's getting better. New Mexico's getting slightly better. Change in drought. So it looks like places really in California really haven't changed. Arizona's gotten slightly better. Places across the Midwest have gotten worse. The Southeast, though, have gotten better. Nice. I do think I will be ending the stream rather shortly, though, because it looks like the mains looks like severe weather will still be likely when I end this, but I kind of got to get going here. Been on for around an hour and 30 minutes now. I'll give you guys one last final look at the radar for a couple minutes, and then we'll head off. We currently have multiple supercells still across the Montana region here, forming into a Boeing cluster in Garfield County here. Looks like velocities are getting a little bit stronger there with the winds. Many other supercells here. This thing is still probably rotating a little bit. Yep. Looks like hail is going to be the main threat. We have hail signatures upwards of 1 inch or so in multiple spots. We still have severe warnings across the board in Montana with these linear segments. Southern California Valley is still dying. Northern California is slightly recovering. Yeah. Looks like the SPC hasn't really released anything new about it. I will say severe or strong storms are going to be possible across portions of Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Alabama, and Florida tonight. And then severe weather is likely to force across Montana and North Dakota, possibly stretching into Minnesota, and western Minnesota. That will do it for the coverage today, though. Thank you all for tuning in. And I will see y'all in the next one.